Alright guys, thank you for watching this video and welcome back to my channel. Today I am playing with some new luxury makeup or new to me luxury makeup. So I have some Fenty, the YSL, the new Glow Powder, new NARS blush, Chantecaille loose powder, the Pat McGrath Concealer, and I also have the new Victoria Beckham Silk Eyeshadow Brick. So this is kind of the main star of the show, I would say. And I just want to do a few swatches and talk about this before we get into the video. So this is 54 US dollars. I ended up paying 95 Canadian dollars for this because I had to pay for shipping and then obviously the exchange rate. So it is very pricey for me and I wanted to see, I guess, if it was worth the price. I have tried the other Victoria Beckham eyeshadow quad. I think it's the more kind of warm toned one. I don't remember the name of it, of course. I thought it was okay, nothing too special. So I did want to try this out because I love this color combination. This really reminded me of the Tom Ford Suspicion palette and also the Charlotte Tilbury Queen of Glow palette. Both of those I absolutely love. I use them, they're like daily palettes for me, they're just my go-tos. So this color combination definitely spoke to me and I just wanted to try it out for myself. So I will give you a little bit of swatching. Here are the swatches. I hope you can see them. I am trying to work on my swatching. I realize I'm not the best. So this is obviously the lightest color, the second shade, the third, and the fourth. They're nice shimmery shades, definitely no glitter chunks in them. They're just nice sheens. They're kind of like, I wouldn't even call them sophisticated shimmer because they don't have that kind of intensity to them. They're just pretty average shimmery eyeshadows. So I hope you guys will enjoy this video. Let's just get straight onto the look. Let's talk about all these new products. I hope you guys are staying safe and that you're doing well and remaining positive throughout this all. Hopefully this video can provide you with some sort of distraction. And before we get into this look, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think of this eyeshadow quad and if you liked how the look turned out. Like the video, subscribe to my channel, ring the bell. Leave the comments and share the video if you want to share it. And let's just get straight into it. So I've already primed my eyes and have set them with a little bit of translucent powder. And this is the new palette by Victoria Beckham. You can see it's all shimmers. So I guess the intention is that you can use it with one of her other matte palettes or you can use it by itself, which is what I'm going to be trying out today. Very pretty shimmery shades. So let's start off with the first shade, which is the largest pan in here. It is called Linen. I'm going to start with this Sonia G Builder Pro brush. I guess I can just use the mirror in here. It's a nice quality mirror, and I'm just going to run that all over my eyelid from inner corner to outer corner and slightly bringing into the crease. So this color is a very bright champagne with gold hint to it. This color actually really reminds me of MAC Nylon, if anyone remembers that shade. Kind of a throwback. I used to use it all the time. This doesn't have any glitter particles or anything in it. It's definitely more of a wash of shimmer. It's nice, pretty pigmented. These are powdery shadows, but it's not blowing me away right off the bat. Next, for a transition shade, I'm going to mix these two shades together, the second and third shade. So that is Sunbeam and Sandal. So Sunbeam is more on the yellow side. And then, what was the other shade? Sandal is more on the dark bronze side, but I just don't want my crease to be that dark. So I am going to start in the outer corner just to build up some depth and then blend that through the crease. So obviously when you're using shimmers, you're not going to build up as much depth, but these are nice. They're not, again, blowing me away, but they are pretty. Not overly pigmented either, so they're easy to blend. The benefit of using shimmer shades in the crease is that you can be a little messy and you don't have to be as precise as when you use matte shadows. These are a little bit more forgiving. So I do feel this is a little light for my taste, so I'm just going to go into the darkest shade, again called Sandal, and I'm going to press that onto the outside corner. Again, just really blending and then blend it through the crease again. And then just to get a little bit more depth in the outer corner, I'm going to take that Sandal shade just on a more, like a smaller blending brush, and I'm just going to press this onto the outer corner. I'm not going to blend this at all because, again, this is a shimmer and you don't have to be as precise. It kind of blends itself out almost. So you get that really blended look even though you're just pressing it on the outside corner. Next, I'm going to take my Sonia G Builder 2, and I'm going to go into the shade that's called Copper, and I am going to apply that all over the lid. So that's really nice. Definitely very pigmented. Again, it doesn't have any glitter particles or anything like that. This is a color story that I am very comfortable with and that I like, but I don't know, these shadows aren't blowing me away, and I felt that with her first palette as well. I mean, they're nice, but this reminds me of the Tom Ford Suspicion palette color theory-wise, but they kind of just blend into each other and almost look a little messy. So I don't know. It's something I'm going to have to play with a bit more. I'm going to go in with the shade Linen again and just use that right under the brow bone to highlight. Ooh, this is so shimmery though. I don't usually like a shimmery highlight under the brow bone, but that is what we're working with, and I just thought I'd try it out. And then to finalize things, I'm going to take Sunbeam on my finger, and I'm going to run it down the center of my eye only, and I am going to go up into the crease. I want this really eye-opening effect there, so I'm taking this brighter yellow gold and just focusing that right on the center. And then might as well just add the sandal color as an eyeliner. So I'm just dipping into it with my Wayne Goss 07 and just pressing it along the lash line. So you can even see from me using it, all these colors are kind of blending into each other, which is why I'm not a huge fan of this kind of theory with this eyeshadow palette, just because all the colors end up meshing together and it will get very messy. But it's all right so far. Before I move on to the face, I'm just gonna add a little bit of color to the lower lash line, and I'm just gonna go back in with Sandal and press that just on the lash line, just right outside the waterline. And I'm gonna connect it to the top lid, like to the lash line on the outside corner, and bring it about, I don't know, 3/4 of the way across. And I'm just gonna go ahead and add my mascara, and I'll be back to work on the face. Mascara is on, and moving back to the face, I thought since I'm using the Victoria Beckham eyeshadow palette, I'd go ahead and use her primer. This is the Cell Rejuvenating Primer, I believe. Yeah, Cell Rejuvenating Priming Moisturizer. So this has a slight sheen to it, but it's nothing compared to like the Hollywood Flawless Filter or even the By Terry CC Serum. It's really nice though. First, this took me a while. Like, it took a while for this product to grow on me. At first, I didn't see anything special about it, and it didn't even feel that moisturizing to me. But now that I've used it more, for some reason, I like it more, and I can't really nail down why. I think it's just because the sheen is very soft, but it does slightly perfect the appearance of texture on my skin. And I find that it works better if you let this sit on your skin for like 3 to 5 minutes. It just absorbs into the skin really nice and prepares your skin well for makeup over top. Another new product I picked up is the Pat McGrath, oh my gosh, I can never get these things out, Pat McGrath Concealer. So I have not tried this yet, obviously, since it's in the box. And why does she make this so annoying? And I have the shade LM8. I have no idea if this will work because, I don't know, she has so many shades, it can be hard to find a color match. So I'm just going to try this out. Oh, wow, it's very pigmented. It's kind of like a funny application. I don't know why. It seems super pigmented, so I'm a little nervous about this. It might be very full coverage. But let's go ahead and blend it in. Okay, so this is definitely super full coverage. Wow. I didn't think it would be this full coverage. Definitely more than the Dior concealer that I just tried out and I've mentioned in my favorites. I guess I didn't just try it out because it's in my favorites. I tried it out last month and I've been really, really enjoying that. Definitely this is more matte and more full coverage. I definitely applied too much. That is for sure because I don't like how full coverage it is looking underneath my eyes. I just think, yeah, it's a little too full coverage and it's a little bit drying. I should mention that I have very dry skin right now, so that's not a huge surprise, but it looks nice so far. It's very smoothing. I just don't think I'm used to seeing my under eyes look this full coverage. I want my skin to be pretty glowy today, so I'm going to go in with the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I'm using a lighter shade, actually. This is the shade 2, I believe, yes. So lighter than I usually go, but I'm using the lighter color because the foundation that I'm using is a tad deep on me. So I figured using this lighter highlighter would work better. And now I'm just going to dab everything in with my Beauty Blender sponge. Like I said, I want the base to be really glowy, so I'm taking the Sisley Phyto-Hydra Taunt. This is their tinted moisturizer that they just came out with. And it's definitely a lighter coverage, and it's definitely more on the dewy side, so I'm choosing that today. This tinted moisturizer is a really nice product for those no makeup days because you can just apply it with your fingers and it looks really nice. I usually prefer it with my fingertips, but I'm not using that one because it's super messy and I don't really have like a desk or anything to clean my hands off right now because I'm filming. And two, because I did lay down that Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter and I don't want to disrupt where I applied it. And my concealer's on too, so this just works out better. And I'm just pretty much applying this first where I have pigment and then blending towards the center of my face where I want the least amount of product, always making sure to go down the neck. I just think this is such a pretty product. It really perfects your skin. And since right now I said I'm super dry, this has been working really well for me. It's a great just day-to-day wear foundation because it is so light coverage. It lasts all day on me. And it's really easy to touch up too if you were doing something after, which obviously no one is. Another new to me product is this Chantecaille loose powder. I think loose powder Powder Libre. I guess that's the fancy name for all of that. So yeah, it's just a loose translucent powder. I'm not sure how I'm going to apply this, but I guess I'm just going to tip some over and apply some to this cap. And I'm just going to set my under eyes with this. So first, pressing out the concealer and then using the side of my Beauty Blender where I didn't apply concealer, sweep off that excess. We're going to do a half bake and I'm just pressing this under my eyes. This is the best way to set powder in my personal opinion. No cakiness, no heaviness, and it sets beautifully. I like the looks of that loose powder. It's hard to judge because this is a new concealer as well, so I'll try it out with some of my other ones and get back to you, but I think that looks really pretty so far. Finishing off the eyes, taking the lightest shade, which is Linen, and using that as the inner corner highlight. So I'm just taking my MAC 228, I think so, 228 brush, pressing this on the inside corner, wrapping around to the inside, and wrapping it around to the inner corner of my lower lash line. And I'm going to buff out the lower lash line with this lash shade, which is called Copper, on a little pencil brush. Just taking that and blending it from outside corner to inside corner. Okay, so after applying that color, there is a tiny bit of shimmer that has fallen under my eyes and onto my cheekbones. So that is the problem with this formula because it is so powdery. It is falling onto my cheeks and kind of getting everywhere. So definitely do your eyes first if you're doing this. It's not bad because it was just my lower lash line that I did last, but I've definitely noticed that. Eyes are finished now, and I just want to say I'm enjoying how this base is looking. I like that it looks super glowy and you can still see my little imperfections. I think that goes well with this eye look because it's quite gold and bronzy. It's like a summer bronze glowing skin look. So to set my face, I'm going to take this really tiny Wayne Goss brush and I'm going to take the Chantecaille Blur Powder and I'm just taking a bit of it, tapping off that excess, and I'm just going to press in the areas where I kind of want to reduce the appearance of texture. So for me, that is just my pore area, the center of my forehead, and the chin, kind of areas where I don't want to be shiny either. But I do like how glowy this is looking so far and how natural my skin is looking that I want to retain that. And this powder is just so blurring that it really does reduce the appearance of pores as soon as you press it in there. So it's a good combo. I haven't gotten a new bronzer, but I've been loving this Dior, I always forget the name of this, Mineral Nude Bronze. It's a Dior Skin. And I'm just going to use that as my bronzer, and I'm not using a mirror, so this will be interesting. I'm just pressing this along the hairline, and then I bring that onto my cheekbones. So I'm definitely bronzing here, not contouring at all. This is a pretty warm bronzer, so I definitely would not suggest contouring with this bad boy, but it's very beautiful on the skin. I love this bronzer. It's one of my, probably my top 3 bronzers. The formula is just perfect. So how have you guys been doing with everything? Just curious if you are finding everything okay, if you're still working. I'm still working right now, but I'm working from home. Originally, I didn't think we'd be able to just because I work in the insurance industry. I was wondering how they'd figure that all out with auto and stuff, but not everyone's working from home, but a majority of us are. And it's been interesting. It's quite the switch to start working from home, that's for sure. But it's been good. Do you guys have any TV recommendations? I have not been watching like any TV, so I definitely need some if you have any. I just hope everyone's doing okay and that you're all healthy and happy and staying positive throughout this. I realize it's a weird time, but I don't know. Nothing we can do. We just have to all get through it. For my blush, I'm going to take NARS Behave. So I picked this up again recently. And let's just try it out. It doesn't really go with this look. I would have preferred to use something warmer, but that's okay. It's not super cool tone, so I'm sure we'll be fine. And just pressing this on. I usually am not a huge NARS blush fan, but a lot of people were talking about how great this formula was, so I wanted to try it out. It is really nice, adding a really pretty glow. It's kind of one of those tones I like. It's like peachy and bronze, but it has a bit more pink to it than like, say, Tom Ford Inhibition. For highlight, I am just going to go back in with the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter in the shade 2. I'm going to apply a bit to my Cupid's bow and tap that in. Apply this a little bit down the nose. Probably applied a bit too much. I need to go in with my beauty blender. This blends in really well and works really nicely as a highlight, so no worries. And then along the cheekbones. This works really well over top of powder too, so that's good. For lip liner, I'm just going to take this Sisley Nude lip liner, line my lips, and then apply this Fenty Gloss Bomb in the shade Sweetmouth. And for a final touch, I picked up the YSL Touche Éclat 3D All Over Glow, so it looks like this. It's definitely a shimmering powder, so I thought this would be perfect to buff with. Again, I'm going for that super glowy, bronzy skin. So I'm just gonna run over everything, and I am going to avoid my pores because a more shimmery powder tends to enhance those, so I definitely don't want to enhance my pores, but I want to blend everything together so it was nice and soft, looks more natural, which I know seems silly to say, but this has a slight smell to it. All right, so this is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to run through everything I tried out that was new to me and give you a bit of a rundown. I'm gonna leave the eyeshadow palette to last, but the Chantecaille powder, I like it so far. Again, it's hard to tell because I am using it with a new concealer, but it seemed to blur the appearance of pores. It's not overly matte, it's not overly dewy for a powder, not that most powders are dewy. But it seemed really nice. I'm going to try this out with some of my other concealers that I'm more familiar with and keep you updated. I tend to love Chantecaille products, so I'm sure I'll love it. The Pat McGrath Concealer in the shade LM8. Very, very full coverage. If you hate full coverage, you will not like this concealer. I went in with, I wouldn't say like a super small amount, but not a ton of product. Definitely full coverage. I feel like you need to work fast with this product because it did dry down. It's a tiny bit drying right in my inner corners here, so I'd probably use an eye cream underneath, but I haven't experienced any creasing yet. Again, it's only been like 10 minutes, so I can't say much so far, but I can leave a note down below on how this wore. It did smooth under my eyes, and I just think you need to be quick and blend and not apply too much product because it is very full coverage. The packaging's nice. It's really heavy and feels luxe, so that's good for Pat McGrath. And the NARS blush I like. It has a pretty glow to it. It doesn't look powdery at all. I think it sits on the skin nice. I think the color is really pretty. This is definitely a neutral tone blush that I think will pair well with many looks. I just think it's a good go-to blush. And then the Fenty Balm. I like these. I sometimes feel like they dry out my lips if I reapply them throughout the day. So I tend to keep my Laneige sleeping mask for touch-up purposes, just because, again, I do feel like this one kind of gets a bit drying after a while, but I do like the color of this. I do like how glossy and plumping it is on the lips. I think it's a nice formula. I like the color of this. I definitely prefer this one to the Fussy shade. So far liking this. And then let's go over the Victoria Beckham. So I think this is a pretty palette. I will say I'm just not wowed by it. I feel like this looks like a regular satin eyeshadow formula that I could get with a lot of my other eyeshadow quads or any of my other eyeshadow formulations. It's nothing comparable to Pat McGrath or Natasha Denona or even Tom Ford. I think my Tom Ford Suspicion palette I love a lot more. Even my Charlotte Tilbury, like I think this is super similar to the Charlotte Tilbury Queen of Glow palette. I like that palette more. I feel like there's just more intensity in those shades. And I like that it's a wet to dry formula. Both of those quads are. And I just feel like this is nothing spectacular. Does it look beautiful? Yes. Is the formula nice? Yes. But I paid $95 for this. So it's 54 US dollars. I think that comes to like, I don't know, probably $67 Canadian. But then I had to pay for shipping on top of that. And to pay $95 for these 4 eyeshadows that are just, they're beautiful, but they're just not like wowing me. And I just think, I wish this was more on the Natasha Denona quality or the Pat McGrath, especially for the price. So again, I think the formula is really nice. If you want a luxury eyeshadow palette, I would put my money towards the Charlotte Tilbury Queen of Glow or the Tom Ford Suspicion palette first, just because I do prefer those over this. Again, I'll let you know how this one wears because I do feel like this is going to fade fast for some reason. I don't know why, but I just get that look from it. I feel like it's already faded a little bit. So again, I'll leave notes down below. I really like the packaging of Victoria Beckham. I'm just not wowed by this. And this is first impression, so I will keep on trying this out. And if I end up using this over and over, maybe it will be worth it. But I just think I will get use out of the other 2 palettes that I mentioned. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any thoughts on some content you'd like to see down below. Let me know if you were intrigued by any of these and if you're going to pick any of them up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like this video if you like it, ring the bell, and I'll see you in my next one.